Hey everybody, Andrew here from Pacific Coast Auto, running down the results of last week's auction picks. You guys had some great picks last week, but the results were less than great. Only 4 of the 11 cars sold. Let's see which ones did. The Subaru WRX STI S207 did not sell. It was unsold with a high bid of $54,960. The Honda CRX SIR did sell, and it went for well under Derek's guess. It sold for $59,40. The Nissan BE1 did not get the attention it likely deserved. It only got bid up to $22,40 and was unsold. The Toyota Crown Comfort Diesel driver's ed car did sell, and it went for just $1,200. I wonder what the new owner is going to do with that thing. The pink Toyota Century did not sell, not because it wasn't bid up high enough, but because it was removed from auction. Not sure exactly what that means, but it's not the same as being unsold. Someone got a bargain on the Nissan Silvia Ks. That one sold for just $4,960. The Subaru Forester STI was bid up over Derek's guess, but was still unsold. That one went up to $9,050. The bidding on the Honda City CR1 was more than double Derek's guess, but it was still unsold even though it got up to $1,900. The Nissan Civilian Kindergarten bus did sell for just under Derek's guess. That one went for $4,020. The brightly colored Daihatsu Midget 2 did not sell. It was only bid up to $1,400. Finally, the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 5 went unsold. That one got bid up to $8,350, but that wasn't quite enough for the seller to let it go. That's going to do it for last week's picks. Now here's Derek with this week's.
Hey guys, what is up? This is Derek from Pacific Coast Auto, obviously, and we're going to run through 10 picks from you guys from the Facebooks of the auction cars that are coming through in the next week. And so let's jump into it immediately. Our thumbnail picture here, very Fast and Furious like. You know what? I don't even know if these cars ever came in this color of orange, but it's now one of the more iconic colors, isn't it? And so what we have here is a submission from Timothy Gallahan, a 1993 Toyota Supra Turbo. And the reason why the 93 is such a good one is because it's only one more year before this is legal to be imported into the USA. They started in 1993. I think the first month was May, maybe? But for the first month of production, not very many of them are out there in the wild, and so waiting for one to come up for auction or finding one is going to take a little bit of time. You could buy this one and you can wait for it, or if you're in Canada, here's a really good idea. Buy this car and import it and drive it until it's legal in the USA, and then the price will probably go up by $8,000 or $10,000 by the time you can sell it to the US, and there are going to be a lot of people clamoring for the authentic JDM version of the twin turbo Supra. Which the funny thing, it's not as good as the American version because it has ceramic turbos, it has lower horsepower, and the American one is more expensive because of more limited availability. Not a lot of people bought them when they were brand new cars, and so it is still a Supra. It's still one of the most beautiful vehicles that's out there. This one has amazing orange dashboard to go along with top secret, amazing body, veil side body kit, and I don't know what wheels these are, but they are kind of flashy. Big GT wing on the back. Really don't like the veil side wing, and so nice to see that they only went with the front bumper. I can live with the front bumper. I'm not a big fan of it. I had to, a couple of times, take these bumpers off because they're too low to ship. And they just feel so heavy and clunky compared to what would be considered like a current modern day sports bumper that you would put on a car. Okay, so looking at the condition of this one, here's the auction sheet. It's a 1993 Supra Turbo, obviously the 2JZ engine in it. Auction grade 3.5 with an interior C, 75,560 kilometers on it, and color changed to orange. The seller doesn't say the original color of it, and they don't say anything about the modifications, probably because the person who owns the car right now has no idea what's in the car. And so this could be one of those cars where you open up the hood and it turns out to have a really nice aftermarket turbo on it, 400 horsepower, something like that. Or it could just be a regular one underneath the hood. You never really know, so it's going to be a surprise. So condition-wise, let's have a look. Aftermarket intercooler, steering wheel, aftermarket. I can't read that. The writing is so terrible sometimes. Aftermarket audio, driver's seat. Floor side member has been dented. End panel dented. Aftermarket exhaust wheels, aero parts and suspension. The hood hinges have been modified. See how at the end it's raised up a little bit? That gives you a little bit better airflow through the engine as some of the air comes in here and can escape through the back a little bit better. And kind of old school on that one. And dashboard comes up, kind of a problem with the Supras. You can't see it here. It's right, well, you can. Some of it's right here. where the plastic bit meets kind of the squishy bit. But more famously, they come up right where the windshield meets. You may be able to fix that with a heat gun. Some people are amazing and really skilled at what they do. Okay, oil lamp is on. That's a big, scary one. That could mean broken engine. And so that's going to affect the price by at least a little bit. Various scratches, dents, and repairs to the car. And it has stickers on the outside, as you can see. Bridgestone. I don't know how to pronounce this. Is it 5 Zigen or is it Go Zigen? I don't know. HKS, Top Secret, Recaro, Bridgestone, and Dunlop. Love that. Bridgestone and Dunlop. Very cool. Okay, so Timothy sent this one in. My guess for price of this one, let's see. Manual transmission, 560 kilometers. Starting price of 200,000 yen. Starting price doesn't mean an awful lot, but in this case, that's going to be way lower than it will actually sell for. I'm going to guess this one will probably sell for about 2 million yen. Even though you can get a better one that hasn't been color changed, doesn't have a hokey orange interior, doesn't have Hanaten and Speed Hunter stickers on the interior, and a really ugly steering wheel. So somebody didn't have a good taste, but the good news is you can fix it yourself if you don't like bad taste in your cars. Okay, on to the next one, sent in by Zay Wang, regular on our videos here. So it looks like an S15 Silvia at first until you look at the back and you're like, oh my gosh, what happened to that car? It's the ugliest car that I've ever seen in my life. And then you look at the front and you're like, ooh, that looks nice. It's really weird. I don't really know what to think about these. I think that they're quite ugly, to be honest. So it's a Silvia convertible. They made convertible versions of the S13, which are pretty rare, and then the S15 with a convertible hardtop. But in order to make the convertible hardtop work, they had to ruin the great looks of the back. And so it's really clumsy looking, especially looking at it from the side, which you can't do here. But like the cockpit is very small, and then the rear trunk is huge, and then the front hood, obviously that's huge too. And so it gives it really weird proportions. Now I think that they only made this one in automatic and non-turbos, but several people do the swaps. We've bought a few of the swapped Variettas. Zaya says, convertible Silvia that is made to order and cost 2.8 million when it was brand new. I don't know really what they cost when they were brand new to know if that's true or not. Probably is. So it's a 2001 Silvia Varietta. And they're not that uncommon. Conditions seem to be pretty bad. And then they have kind of fitment issues with this back trunk. They never look like they're lined up properly. So it's an auxiliary 4, interior B, exterior B, low mileage at 57,630 kilometers, automatic transmission, okay, aftermarket exhaust, aftermarket tail lenses. Underside has some corrosion on it, left and right floor member scratched and dented. Underneath the battery has corrosion, and then hood emblem is missing, which is that cool lightning bolt Silvia logo. Okay, some rust on the roof and some corrosion on the back and a cracked part on the front bumper. Kind of weird to have rust and corrosion on it and still be a grade 4. A lot of people ask us why that's the case, and we don't really have a good answer. It's just I guess the overall condition of the car is really good other than those places, and the inspector thought that giving it a 3.5 would be too little. Aftermarket taillights. In fact, I love aftermarket taillights on the S15 because I think the original ones look really dumb. Okay, price for this one, I think we'll probably see this one go for about 850,000 yen. That's going to be my guess. And on to the next one. Same person as who sent in the Supra, Timothy Gallahan, sent in this, as well as Zachary Konopa. And so Timothy says 1994 Eunos Roadster V Special Type 2 Itasha car. So Itasha is a painful car. Basically, it's cars with anime put on. It's a thing here in Japan. Kind of weird. But a lot of people are really into it, and they'll spend lots of money on their cars to put these huge decals on that make it look weird. Being into anime here in Japan is considered kind of nerdy. Kind of the same thing as Dungeons and Dragons is back home. But the general population kind of thinks, you know, if you're into anime, that's fine. You can go and do that. I'm not going to make fun of you or anything. I'll just stay away, and you can go do your own thing. And so in that respect, I think it's a little bit better than it is back in America or Canada, where you might be made fun of for being really into anime. Here in Japan, I don't really see that often. Anyways, then Zachary Canopa said a Miata with a peculiar paint job. So the V Special version gets a Nardi wooden steering wheel and a Nardi wooden shift knob and a Nardi wooden e-brake handle, and then they come in special color combinations. Like, for example, this top color with this body color would be unique to the V Special. And they, I think that this color of green might be special. I don't know. But I know for a fact that the other V Special comes in yellow, and then you can only get that yellow color with the V Special. Okay, so this one has, oh, come on, sheet. Oh, don't do that to me. So 207,024 kilometers is pretty high for a car in Japan. Has the bigger of the two engine sizes. These Miatas, or the Roadster as they're called in Japan, come with either 1600 or an 1800 engine. 5-speed manual, RA with a B- interior, B- exterior. Accident damage here on the left front inner panel is dented, core support is dented, engine doesn't work. Oh, lovely. Interior has water leaks. Seat is ripped, underside surface rust, exterior has color fade, exterior has stickers on it, and the soft top is ripped, various scratches and dents, but strangely, the body is remarkably good considering all of the other damage. There's a huge dent in the back corner here, but otherwise perfect. And let's see if we can see that huge dent. Whoops, which corner is that? It's the right-hand corner. Oh, I just took it away. Come back. Yeah, you can't see it very well. Okay, so how much is it going to sell for? Really not much. The stickers on it might interest some people, but for the average person, it's going to turn them away from this car. It would be kind of fun to have an authentic Itasha car from Japan, but you'd have to put up with driving it around, which for me, I don't know if I can handle it without hiding like like this guy. Look, this guy in the car hiding. Don't show my face. Ooh, and chrome mirrors. I think that's part of the V Special too. Price on this, 40,000 yen is going to be my guess, because it's not in really good condition and high mileage. Okay, on to the next one from Brandon Decker, and he sent in this one here. And he says, a Nismo edition Nissan Note. It's called a Versa Note in the US, and they're terrible to drive. I wonder if the Nismo edition is better. And I think what you get with the Nismo edition is you get the body kit, and you get the wheels, and you get lower suspension, and you get stiffer anti-roll bars. And you might get something different on the interior, some different trim level or colors, like maybe red here is part of the Nismo edition. Nissan, and so many companies do this. Nissan and Toyota do it probably worse than anyone else, is they take their company, like Nissan, or Nismo stands for Nissan Motorsports, and they have some legitimately well done motorsports credentials, and so does TRD for Toyota. However, they dilute the brand by putting their bits onto these economy cars that don't really carry the same meaning as a motorsports car. It's not like, the Toyota Vitz TRD is actually a spec race car, and so that's really cool. This one's not. This is just add an extra $2,000 onto the price of the car in order to have some flashy bits on it. And I think that's the wrong way for a company to go if they're going to be trying to say they have motorsports credentials. I don't have a problem with them doing models like this, but just naming it something else. Maybe give it a name like Nismo Prime or Nismo Extreme or something else instead of just the regular Nismo, and then differentiate that so that the actual Nismo is only for the vehicles that actually deserve it. I think that would be a better decision. That way you can still leverage the Nismo name for cars that you just want to make frivolous markup on. Anyways, so this is a 2015 Note Nismo edition, and what's this? Original SD Navi and LED headlights. Ooh, neat. So I don't know much about these other than what I hear on the Autoblog podcast, and everyone who's ever driven it on that says it was terrible to drive. And I don't have any reason to think that that's incorrect. It's a 4.5 interior A, exterior A, 18,915 kilometers. Condition looks to be fine. It's one owner. Body looks really good. End panel is dented, so somebody backed into something. I think the body kit looks good on it. I think that the Note is a good looking car. I know it's like very bottom of the basement bin. I think this is the cheapest car you can buy in the US right now, is the Versa Note. The cheapest brand new car. I think it's like $11,000 or something. Nismo edition. I don't know how much this is gonna sell for. I'll guess 800,000 yen. I mean, it's in good condition, but it's not an expensive car. So 800,000 is gonna be my guess on this one. Brandon sent in another one, and this one I get a bigger smile from Brandon for sending me this one because I'm in love with the Japanese version of the Odyssey, and I think it's really cool that, at least until now, like the current one, this is one version before the current one. The current one upsized back to full-size van size. But I really liked the Odyssey for the first generation, second, and this one being the third. It's really like a large station wagon more than it is like a minivan. And I think that it drives fantastically. We've bought one that kind of has the same wheel setup as this one, same super low stance, and it was lovely to drive. 180 horsepower out of a 2.4 liter with four-wheel drive. You can get it front-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, and I think 104, maybe I'm wrong on that 180. I think 200, maybe 200 horsepower is right for that one, or 240. I don't know. Should we look it up? I don't know if we have time. I'll quickly look it up. So you guys can access this too if you want. This is all the information on all the cars, and it's super handy for finding out how much horsepower the cars have. So Honda, we're going to go over to Odyssey. So here's the current version of the Odyssey, and this one is a 2015. So type in 2015 only. And so these ones go up to 190 horsepower, FF or full four-wheel drive. And let's just see the previous generation, because I have a feeling like it might be a different setup. Let's have a look. 200 horsepower in the version before that, in the Absolute version. And they do make the Absolute in four-wheel drive, I think. Just not during this year, maybe? Well, if you really want to know, you can look it up. Anyways, oh, this is wrong. Oh, I gave you a little preview there. Back. And here we go. Okay, so this one, Brandon Decker, he says a dad wagon with, quote, broken wheels. Brandon remembers one time when I did an auction walk-around video and I called the wheels broken on a super cambered car, and I got called out like crazy in the comment section by all the cool people who think that these type of wheels make your car better. And they said, they're not broken wheels, man, it's called stands. And it became a bit of a thing. And so, yeah, you can call it whatever you want, but at the end of the day, you're making your car worse. So if what you want is a car that looks like this, so you can get the approval of people who like broken cars, that's fine, and I seriously don't have a problem with that. But you can't put your wheels like this on your car and then say that you're improving the car, because the car is now going to handle worse, it's going to run through the tires quicker, it's going to be unsafe, and the vehicle is so low that you can't drive it anywhere. Look at this. This is like 3 centimeters tall and can barely clear it. So, to me, that's a really stupid thing. But like I say so many times, even though I think that it's a stupid thing, it's still cool to look at. Just don't drive it on the street around me and crash into me, and I'm going to be happy with that. Look at all the exhaust with the carbon fiber on it. Okay, we've spent too much time on this one, so I won't go over the sheet here, but looks like plenty of modifications. 19-inch wheels, really good-looking body, 81,967, and the car does look really flashy and cool. So if this car drives down the streets, I'll take a picture of that and post it on Facebook and say, look at this. And to a lot of people, that's the kind of car that they want, is one that's going to grab the attention of people. And look at this funny intake here. It's like it's a brake cooling intake, but only on one side. Maybe it's for air intake. Don't know. Anyways, price, starting price 180,000, 82,000 kilometers, polarizing looks, price estimate 780,000 yen. Okay, who's next? Thomas Wells. And this one has a bit of a conversation, so I'll pull up these pictures and then I'll tell you what everybody said, because it is spot on. And so Thomas Wells said, here's my third pick and my last one. It's a truck with only 36,000 miles. Just a small correction here. The star here means that the mileage is unknown. It's a 5-digit odometer, so it could be 136, could be 36, could be 136, could be 236, could be 336. And so we don't really know. And then Bill Courtney, he says, Derek's clickbait, which is true because everybody knows that I love these so much. And Zachary Canopa says, steps on how to get featured on the video. Number 1, post a Nissan Sunny truck. Number 2, post an Alpina B10. Or number 3, post any cars with less than 1,000 units produced. And he may be right about that, and it may be a bit of a jab at how how I like to flaunt unnecessary knowledge about cars. It's like, if I can say this, then everyone's going to think that I'm cool. Maybe true, maybe not, don't know. I do like the B10s though, they're really nice. And then Thomas Wells says, Zachary Canopa, so next week I search for young cars with high mileage for extra anti-click. Okay? And Bill Courtney says, you mean you can stop sending Andrew money every week? And I don't know about this, but I don't think that Andrew receives any money. And if he does, then I'm going to want a share of that if there's bribes going around. And so, not a lot to say here that hasn't already been said about the Sunny trucks in multiple of our other videos. It has aftermarket seats, which are probably a big deal because there's not much space in here. The original seats are good. A lot of aftermarket seats don't give you enough back room, but this style of Recaro seat, if it's not missing the one piece here, this style of Recaro seat is very low profile and fits in the smaller cars better, and so you should be fine with that. Body looks to be pretty good, but with bad paint everywhere. So paint fade, paint peeling, paint peeling, paint fade, paint peeling. And do we have any corrosion? Corrosion's a big deal on these things. Let's see. No, but the front pillar and the rear floor are dented. I usually stay away from front pillar dented cars because that seems serious to me. And dashboard's cracked. And some other things. I'm not going to get through everything. Starting price, 0 yen. And it's a 1993 January, so importable into the States in next January. Importable to several other countries immediately if you really want it. 1.2 liter engine. And price for this seems much better than your average one, despite the bad paint. So it needs a repaint, has some pretty awesome wheels on it. It's a long bed, not the short bed. I could see this one going for 590,000 yen. Okay, next one, Perry Chapel. And Perry, did you get our package that we sent you yet? Because we sent you were the winner of the Guess the Price that we did a couple of weeks ago. And so you got a free package of awesome stuff, full of Japanese snacks that you can't buy anywhere else. Okay, so Perry says on this one, mad looking Jimmy. Perry, are you from Australia? They say mad there when they're talking about cool things. Mad looking Jimny with all the road bits, and judging from the 4B rating, probably never used, which is a thing. A lot of people here in Japan will make their car look like a cool off-road vehicle, but then never actually use it for off-roading. Which I guess happens everywhere else too. It's not only a Japanese thing. But weird that they do it with Jimnys, because the Jimny, the size with the really short wheelbase and the abundance of aftermarket parts makes it awesome for off-roading, because a short wheelbase is exactly what you want when you're off-roading. And it, with a low gear range and the turbocharged engine, it's underpowered, but it's cheap. You can get into 4x4 really quickly and easily with one of these. If you roll it over, you can go buy another one really easily because they're everywhere here in Japan. And if there are people who are going to be off-roading, it's a good vehicle to start with. This one here is the spring suspension version, so you rarely see these ones lifted compared to the leaf spring ones just because it's more expensive to do so. 103,550 kilometers. This is a 2001, so this is the second to current generation? I don't know. They don't change over that often with the Jimny because it is kind of a unique vehicle that doesn't compete with anything else. And this one, I think this is when they moved over to independent front suspension and still had the solid rear. 1.3 liter engine. Oh, this one's not the K version. So they sell this one as a K vehicle and a non-K. So the K is a turbocharged 660cc, and the non-K is a naturally aspirated 1300cc. But the K one is much more common because registration costs are way less for that one. It's a modified 4-grade with an auction grade B, 16-inch wheels, lifted up, keyless entry, aftermarket hood. I love the look of this. The hood and the front grille and the over fenders and the sump guard and the front bumper. No rear bumper. This is a cool vehicle, I think. And what I think is really cool about this is how small it is and yet how big you can make it with the big tires. And so it does look pretty goofy when you see these driving around. Tail lenses have been modified, bumper modified. The rear box area, something, what? Something I can't read. Inside the rear trunk has a box added or something? I don't know. Okay, and seat stain, headliner is dirty. This one here says the rear mount tire has been taken off. Underside surface rust and corrosion. For a body-on-frame vehicle, usually the corrosion doesn't bother me as much as it does for a unibody car because it's probably a little bit easier to repair. And for 4x4 vehicles, sometimes rust is not as bad, in my opinion. Seat saggy and modified exhaust. Body looks to be pretty clean and decent mileage. You could probably just take this right out of the box and go 4x4. It does look like it has a lot of great bits. In fact, you can take one of the regular Jimny's 4x4 and just with the stock suspension, it still handles pretty well in off-road. Price for this one could be, let's see, starting price, 0 yen. 600,000 yen, which is really high for one of these. Really, really high. And so, hopefully I'm not wrong about that one. On to the next one, Sean William Billamy sent in this one here. This is going to be quick because it's not that interesting, but it is. So it looks like a Pontiac Voltz, but it's actually a Toyota Voltz. And so the Voltz and the Matrix were made by, in the same plant, kind of a GM plus Toyota thing. It's a, what's the name of that plant? The Numi plant? I don't know. Something like that. Anyways, so basically the Matrix and the Voltz were made for the American market, and then Japan got the Voltz as a Toyota, and here's a V logo instead of the Pontiac logo. They're really uncommon here because they're not really suited to the Japanese market in the same way as most Japanese cars are, so it's kind of on the big side and not very fuel efficient and not set up very well and kind of weird styling for the Japanese market, possibly, I don't know. So they didn't sell very many of these, and they're pretty rare. Not that cool to have a Toyota version of the Voltz, because the Voltz isn't that cool anyway. Neither is the Matrix, in my opinion. I don't think either of them are really worthy of a Toyota badge. It's kind of when Toyota started sliding down a hill, in my opinion. Grade looks average, 2002, and I can't see these selling for a lot. Maybe 80,000 yen? Okay. The next one that Sean sent in is really cool, though. Check this out. I don't even know what it is. I've never seen one of these before. And that's what I love about Japan, is because it is a market that is small and insulated to some extent. We do get these really weird low volume specialty vehicles like this one. It looks like a Nissan Sentra with like a cargo box on the back with some cool windows in it. It looks like a hearse, but it wouldn't be big enough to put that in, so it has to be some sort of a cargo vehicle. Look at the plate here. It's a 501. It might be registered as a cargo vehicle. I don't know what a 5 Series registration is. Really cool vehicle, though, and very unique if you had this in not Japan. Even if you had it in Japan, it's unique, but nobody's going to look twice at it. But if you have this in the States or in Canada or in many other countries, that's going to be something really weird looking. And could be useful as a like a company car, put branding on the side. More people look at the weird cars, and we'll see your branding. 124,712 kilometers, gasoline 1500 cc, auction grade 3.5 interior C, and paint peeling on the roof. Average condition body with misaligned rear bumper. Barn doors on the back. That's cool. Various scratches and dents. Bed has screw holes in it and scratches. Steering wheel wear, and first time it's at auction. These weird ones are hard for me to price out. I'd say probably looking at it like 200,000 yen for this. and 97 makes it not legal for the US yet, but legal for Canada. It looks fairly old for 97 though, to me. And the last one here is a C10 Skyline. And when we have these up, usually I pass by them because I don't know why I pass by them. The Skyline, this one's not a GTR, but these ones come in like a different versions, the GT, the GTX, the GTR. The GTR started in 1968, I think, and this one's in 1972, which I believe is the final year or second to final year of this generation. The 4-door came first, and then the 2-door came after that. And same with the GTR. So there were 2 years of Skyline GTR that came in 4-door before kind of the iconic 2-door coupe version came around. So this would be the original GTR's body style, is like this. But the GTR has wider fenders on it, and then a couple of differences here and there. Now, these tend to sell for a lot. I think the 4-door would be less than the 2-door because the looks are a little bit more or less sporty. But I like the looks of it. I think the front has a very iconic look to it. It'd be handy to have the extra doors. And we actually sold our first one of these last month. It was a 2-door version. I got a chance to drive it. The one that we had didn't drive as well as I would like it to have. I really like cars from this generation and the way that they feel to drive, but that one had way too hard of suspension and way too quickly engaging of a clutch because it was aftermarket. Fix those things and it probably would have been a better vehicle to drive. This one has a 2.8 liter engine in it. Did they say anything about an engine swap? Because I think that these didn't come with the 2.8 liter engine. I think that during this year they were 2.0 L20 engines and then S20 engine for the GTR. I could be wrong about that. Mileage is unknown. It shows 15,949 kilometers on there. Has Solex carbs on it, Watanabe wheels, and a bunch of damage to it. But it looks like it has some corrosion on it and corrosion repairs and paint repairs and repair marks and stuff like that. But its seats are ripped, core support dented. It really looks better than most of them though. And there are a lot of really weak condition Hakoskas in Japan, and so this one probably will sell for a little bit higher. I'm going to pick 2.8 million on this one, but these ones vary in price a lot, so I'm not going to be that accurate on it. And so that brings us to the end of the videos. Check us out on Facebook if you want to play the game. And we have a video like this every Wednesday in Japan, which is every Tuesday in most other areas. So look forward to that. And thanks for watching. See you next time.